let us look into the functions of cell organelles in this video. And we are going to cover the cell membrane, cell wall, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, mitochondria, Golgi bodies, plastids, lysosomes, centrioles, vacuole, and the nucleus. So the first organelle is the cell membrane, right? If you look into the structure of cell membrane, the function of cell membrane, it gives definite shape to the cell. Obviously, it encloses the cell content, so it provides shape to the cell. It provides protection to the internal contents of the cell, you can say. Protection to the cell contents. Then it regulates the entry and exit of substances across it, right? Because of which we say that the cell membrane is selectively permeable. So it regulates entry and exit of substances through it. Then it can help in the process of ingestion, as in case of amoeba. The cell membrane extends in the form of pseudopodia and helps in ingestion of the food particle inside, and also in egestion, right? And sometimes in animal cells it is also involved in adhesion, recognition, and formation of vesicles. Formation of certain vesicles, small vesicles. It also helps to form the flagella and the microvilli. This is happening in case of animal cells. So those were the functions of cell membrane. Alright, let's look into the next organelle now. Not an organelle basically, but the structure, that is the cell wall. Now this cell wall basically has, again, it is present only in plant cells. Cell wall is present only in plant cells, right? So it determines the shape of the plant cell. It's not there in animal cells, I repeat. It determines shape of plant cell. Then it prevents its drying up. You can say it prevents desiccation of the plant cell or drying up of the plant cell. It protects the plasma membrane, which is internal to it. Protects plasma membrane and also the internal structures of the cell. It helps in transport of substances across it. Transport of substances across it. It doesn't allow too much water to get in, right? So it prevents cytoplasm to become too much dilute. It prevents too much entry of water inside, thereby preventing the cytoplasm from becoming too much dilute, right? So that is the function of the cell wall. Now we basically start with the organelles. So we talk about the endoplasmic reticulum. It's also referred to as the ER, endoplasmic reticulum, and you are already aware that we have two types of it. Two types of endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum if ribosomes are attached to it, and smooth endoplasmic reticulum if there are no ribosomes on its surface, right? So let's talk about the functions. It increases surface area of the cytoplasm for various metabolic activities of the cell. Right? All right. The second one, it gives support to the cytoplasm or framework to the cytoplasm, or you can say the shape to the cell, internal framework to the cell. Then it is associated with, or you can say it helps in synthesis. This is the main function. Storage and transport of metabolic products. Whatever is synthesized inside the cells, right? So it is going to help in the synthesis, storage and transport of metabolic products. Then it also helps in formation of cell plate. It helps to form cell plate and even the nuclear membrane during cell division. So when cell division is going to take place, the cell plate and the nuclear membrane will be rebuilt by the materials synthesized by endoplasmic reticulum, right? Okay, then the rough endoplasmic reticulum is involved in synthesizing or to synthesize proteins, and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, it secretes lipids, which along with proteins, they constitute the cell membrane. So they help to make cell membrane. And this process of construction of cell membrane using the products which are synthesized by smooth endoplasmic reticulum is referred to as membrane biogenesis. Okay, recreating the membrane. Also, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum plays an important role in detoxifying, excuse the spellings please, in detoxifying many poisons and drugs. Okay, so those were the functions of endoplasmic reticulum. Let's move down further. So we've done cell membrane, cell wall. Next we are done with endoplasmic reticulum. Now we move on to ribosomes. The fourth one. The fourth organelle is ribosomes. There is basically one important function of ribosomes, that it helps in protein synthesis. It helps in protein synthesis. This is the function of ribosomes. Next one is your mitochondria. So mitochondria is often referred to as the powerhouse of the cell. That's because the process of respiration happens here. So it helps to produce ATP, and ATP is nothing but the energy currency of the cell. It's the energy currency of cell. So mitochondria is rightly referred to as the powerhouse of the cell because it generates energy. So it's the powerhouse of the cell as it generates energy in the form of ATP. So that's the function of mitochondria. Very, very important organelle, present both in plant and animal cells. Now we move on to the next one, that is your Golgi bodies. So let's write down Golgi bodies. Golgi bodies are also referred to as dictyosomes in plant cells, right? What do we call? We call them dictyosomes in plant cells. Okay, now they have this function. They help to store, modify, package, and package and condense the proteins which are synthesized by ribosomes. Proteins synthesized by ribosomes. So ribosomes, as we discussed above, they are the protein factories of the cell. So once the proteins are made, they are now going to be stored, modified and packaged and condensed into various shapes by the Golgi bodies. So this is their primary function. Now they are also like endoplasmic reticulum. They help to form cell plate during cell division. So they also assist in formation of cell plate during cell division. Next, these Golgi bodies help to produce digestive enzymes, or you can say they help to produce structures called as lysosomes, rich in digestive enzymes, right, which actually bring about they are referred to as the suicide bags of the cell, and they bring about degradation of the cell organelles or the entire cell itself. Now Golgi bodies add sugars to proteins which are there inside the body synthesized by ribosomes. They add sugar to this and help to synthesize polysaccharides for the cell membrane. So the cell membrane is basically made up of polysaccharides which are further assisted to be made in the presence of Golgi bodies, right? So those were the functions of Golgi bodies. Let's move on to the next organelle, plastids. Now plastids are common only to plant cells. They are absent in animal cells. They are present only in plant cells. Now if you look at the plastids, we have basically three categories. So you have leucoplasts. These are the colorless plastids. Then we have chloroplasts. These are the plastids that store chlorophyll. And we have chromoplasts. These are the plastids which give colors to flowers and all, right? So you can say chloroplasts help to trap solar energy because they help in photosynthesis, right? The leucoplasts help in storage of proteins, starch, lipids and all that, right? And the chromoplasts, they help in giving color to the flower petals. So that is the job of plastids. Plastids are absent in plant cells. Let's move on further to the next organelle, that is lysosomes. Now lysosomes are often referred to as the suicide bags of the cell. Lysosomes, now they help in breaking down or digesting. They help in digesting large molecules inside the cell. Digesting large molecules of the cell. This is their primary function. Now they work in defense against any pathogen that might have entered. So against bacteria and viruses. They eat them up basically. And during starvation, that means that period when somebody is not eating food, during starvation, lysosomes can digest their own cell organelles. So lysosomes act on their own cell organelles and digest them, and thereby killing the cell. Okay, so that is why they are referred to as suicide bags of the cell. Now if you remember, we discussed it that they were produced by the Golgi bodies. Here it is, right? Okay, let's move on to the next organelle, and we are now moving on to the centrioles. Now centrioles are present only in animal cell. Centrioles only present in animal cells. Now centrioles' basic function is that they are just going to produce spindle fibers. They produce spindle fibers, thread-like fibers, when a cell has to divide. This is their primary function, right? So they are involved in cell division, you can say, and they also help in formation of cilia and flagella. Now these are the, you can say, organs involved in locomotion in lower life forms, both cilia and flagella. Now we move on to the next organelle, and that is your vacuole. So we move on to vacuoles. Now what is the function of vacuoles? Let's look into that. In animals, vacuoles are associated with, vacuoles help in maintenance of water balance. Maintenance of water balance. They work in osmoregulation. This is one very important function of vacuoles, that they help in osmoregulation, that is maintenance of internal pressure. Maintenance of internal pressure of the cell. Maintenance of internal pressure, and besides it, they store various substances. Or you can say the waste products inside the cell, right? So those were the functions of vacuole, and I think now we are left with the last organelle to be discussed, and that is your nucleus. Let's talk about nucleus. And it is the most important organelle of the cell. It is sometimes referred to as the control center, sometimes referred to as the brain of the cell. Now this nucleus consists of basically the outer nuclear membrane. As the cell has got the cell membrane, the nucleus has got the nuclear membrane. Then it has got a fluid substance called as the nucleoplasm. Then it has a dark colored stained region known as the nucleolus, and nuclear pore present in the nuclear membrane, openings present in the nuclear membrane, and it has got the genetic material. In a cell which is not dividing, the nucleus has genetic material in the form of chromatin fibers, right? So that's the general structure. Now when we talk about the nucleus, one major function of nucleus is it helps in passing of genes from parents to offsprings, or you can say heredity. It's the hereditary material of the cell, right? Without a nucleus, a cell can neither survive and nor it can show any specialized action. You can say it is the hereditary unit of a cell. Okay, now if we talk about the nucleolus inside the cell, so nucleolus has got this function that nucleolus helps to synthesize RNA or ribonucleic acid, okay, which actually helps to make up the ribosomes, the ones which are the protein factories of cell, right? And the nucleus also plays a role in cell division. So those were the cell organelles. I hope this video was useful to you. Kindly go through all this and all the best. See you in the next class.